Hey everybody, it's Scotty from Scotty's Record Shop with another artist profile. I guess how I should start this off is by addressing the issue. Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I've come pretty close to it, I'll tell you. But I'm told by my well-paid, and I stress that word, well-paid doctors, that I am on the mend, although I've been out of work for 2 weeks and haven't been able to hold food down for a week and all that good stuff. But I actually am eating solid food again. It's the little things in life, like being able to eat solid food. This is my first day of being able to eat solid food again, and it's although it's a little painful, I'm enjoying it actually. So just be grateful. If you get anything out of this video, be grateful for the little things in life. Um, Another thing I want to address is in another video, and thank you for all of you who have been asking about my health. I actually just have a really, really severe viral infection that just, and you know how it is with viruses. You just cannot take a nice little shot or something and they go away. You just have to let them run their course. They'll either leave or kill you, one of the two, you know. Um, Anyway, one other thing I want to address is during a past video, somebody had noted they wanted to see my Glenn Campbell collection. And I don't mean to insult you by asking this question. I just want to ask, are you serious? Because if you are, I would love to show. I've got like 15, 16, 17, 18, whatever it is. Probably close to 20 albums by Glenn Campbell. And I enjoy Glenn Campbell. So if you truly do want to see that, I will put that in the loop of videos that people want me to show artist profiles of, because that's what I've been doing lately. Um, so just let me know right down there. I can't remember who you are, but again, for everybody, thank you for watching these videos. I really, really do appreciate it. It actually gives me something to do today because I'm trapped at home. I can't go near. I work at a hospital, and you know they don't like you being there in the condition that I'm in. Even though I don't know. I want to go back to work so bad. Oh God. But anyway, so I'll make some videos for you guys. Um, anyway, the group in question is a group that was asked about a while ago by somebody, and that's the group Badfinger. And I was thinking, well, I've got all their albums except for one, and it's the one album most everybody doesn't have, at least on vinyl. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do it. And then I thought, oh, the heck with it. I really like Badfinger. And as a child, I even remember growing up with the singles, but it was about 1980 when I heard the song Day After Day on the radio. And something changed in my head. I all of a sudden decided I really love this band, and I wanted everything by them. And for those of you who are a little older, know that by 1980, pretty much everything by Badfinger was out of print, with the exception of the current stuff that they were doing. And I'll explain how that all happened. But I connected with a person at a local FM radio station, WIGY. For those of you who were in the Maine area way back when, Y106, Wiggy the Wonder Dog. Yay. That was a cool station back then. Anyway, the DJ, he informed me, he was older than I was, and he let me know exactly who Badfinger was and the albums at the time he was aware of that they put out. And he actually taped a couple of things for me and sent me a cassette, which was incredibly sweet of him, and it really just set me on fire. And I'll tell you the album that he sent me, and it was an amazing album. I figure even though I don't have everything, I have a few rarities that might interest you, some of you Beatle heads out there, like Joe and Mr. Mayo, Joe out there. I'm sure. I hope you've got Joe. Joe's really into Badfinger or into the Beatles, so he's probably got some Badfinger stuff floating around somewhere. I'm sure he does. Okay. Well, anyway, Badfinger, before they were Badfinger, they were a group called the Ivies, and this is not an original pressing of this album. As you can see, it says EMF on the label. This was a pressing that came out in the 80s of the original album. I'll show you the inner of this if I can get it out. The last copy I saw of this, there it is right there, if you can see that. The last copy I saw of this, an actual Apple pressing, it was going for $900 on eBay, and that was a while ago. Very, very rare album to find an actual vinyl copy of. Of course, I believe it's available on CD now. A great record, though, from the Ivies, which would eventually become Badfinger. Their first album, and by the way, that was, I said it on Apple, right? Don't mind me, ugh. Okay. Um, the first album that we really got here in America, by the way, the single Maybe Tomorrow from the album was titled Maybe Tomorrow, by the way. That single was issued, and it did crack the Billboard Hot 100. The single by the Ivies I have, and it's not that hard to get. You shouldn't pay any more than like maybe $10 for it at the most. But the album itself, I don't even know if it was ever issued here officially in the United States. But this one was Magic Christian, 1970. They got some help. They got a name change, number one, to Badfinger, and they got some help from Paul McCartney with the song "Come and Get It." This album actually has some of the tracks from the Maybe Tomorrow album, and some stuff, some newer stuff. And this is a really good album. It's on the Apple label. I'll show you that if you really want to see. Nothing special, other than the fact that it's Apple, and that's wonderful in itself. That was the big hit off of this album, but it's a good album. I guess there's a movie called Magic Christian that I've never seen, but I don't even know if the record has anything to do with it too much or anything. But okay, 1970, we're still in 70, the end of 70. This was about the time they came up to Maine. They played, I'm trying to think of where they played. I think they played the Portland Expo building in 1970. They came up with Mongo Jerry, I believe. And that was a great show from my understanding. But this was the album they came up for. No Dice, 1970, the end of 70. When you look at this, it's, well, anyway, I'll show you the inner part of it first. It's a gatefold. And I don't know how well this is going to pick up. Oops, it would help if I held it like this. So let's do this. We'll do it like this. There you go. That's the album right there. Got them into a little bit of trouble with that cover, and you can't imagine why. Anyway, this is just on your atypical Apple label as well. No Matter What on this album was the big single. And this also had Without You, which became a huge hit for Henry Nielsen in 1972. And written by Pete Ham, who's one of the members that committed suicide in this band, the first member to go. What a great songwriter he was. This band was just such a great band, and they got screwed. They got screwed by Apple. They got screwed by their management. They got screwed by everybody. And although they had four really big singles, they should have had a lot more. And they shouldn't. I mean, Pete Ham should never have been pushed over the edge to the point where he felt like he needed to kill himself over money stuff. That's just wrong, Okay, this was the album. I told you that a guy from WIGY had sent me a copy of this on cassette, because by the time I discovered these guys in earnest, everything was out of print for the most part. Boy, did he send me the right album, though, that just pushed me over the edge. Straight up. 1972. And this album I absolutely love this album to this day. Apple. Day After Day, Baby Blue. I mean, Flying. If you need to listen to what a Badfinger album is or was, this is it. One of the sides, side one, I believe, was produced by Todd Rundgren, and side two was produced by George Harrison. And man, what an amazing album. It took me to the mid-'80s to find these albums, some of these earlier albums, down at Nuggets in Boston. I know that Rob from Boston and some of you other guys down there know about, Nuggets and Newbury Comics and all those great, In Your Ear, all those great record stores in Boston. Okay, 1973. This is where Apple just went, hey, goodbye. In a sense, they did. And it's too bad, because this is a great album, I think. I like this album. Ass. The one single off of this record, I'm trying to make sure this is all in frame here. The one single off this album, Apple of My Eye, barely made it into the top, not even into the top 40, it barely made it into the Hot 100. And from what I read, Apple just didn't push this. They just kind of let it die in a lot of ways. They had other interests. Of course, they were going through a lot of financial issues, and the Beatles killing each other in court. Everything was just, the Badfinger got left behind, and it's a shame. And it got even sadder. Let's look to some more rarities, okay? This is one that I found down in Boston way back when. It's Badfinger at the Beeb, 1972 and 1973. One side 72, I believe, and one side 73. I may be wrong about that. I can't remember. I haven't listened to this for a little while. There's your label. Nothing spectacular. You can tell that it's an unofficial release. It's a great quality sound, though. Very thick vinyl. Very well done. I'm sure all of these have been pirated on CD now for years. Here's another one. This is a double album of rarities. Quality on this varies from track to track. Here's your label. It's the same label, same company. But it's got some really interesting stuff. Some radio interviews, some live tracks, some outtakes from the Straight Up album, which they've tried making Straight Up a couple of times. And all that stuff is released now on CDs, but at the time it wasn't, back in 85-ish or so, when I picked that up at Nuggets. So, 1984, they went over to the Warner Brothers record label for this one, Badfinger. And I like this album a lot. Warner Brothers didn't do anything for them. It's kind of weird. I don't know if they were kind of a tax write-off or something. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories. Lonely You, I believe, is the track on here. When I heard that, it's like, my God, they didn't issue that as a single. What is your problem, Warner Brothers? But like I said, a good album. All of these are available on CD now, including the next one that I don't have. The album Wish You Were Here, which was issued by Warner Brothers in late 1974 and pulled by Warner Brothers in late 1974. There are copies of it floating around. I've seen them for a fairly large amount of money, and someday I will get a copy of that. I have a copy on CD. It's a fine album. They were really trying their hardest to make great records, but their record label just wasn't behind them. And as most people who are into Badfinger know, in 1975, I believe it was in May of 1975, Pete Ham hung himself in his garage, who really was the driving force. I mean, there's so much talent in that band, but Pete was just an amazing songwriter, an amazing guitar player. And if you don't believe that, just listen to the song Day After Day. Listen to the slide work he did with George Harrison, and listen to his vocals. Just great. And he just felt, I mean, his wife had a baby a bun in the oven, and they were bankrupt, and everything had gone wrong. Warner Brothers had dumped them. So it was the end of Badfinger for the most part. Some people don't like what happened next. This is where I found out about Badfinger, though. The first album that I bought from Badfinger was this one, Airwaves, 1979. I know this has got ring wear, but it means a lot to me. It's in good shape, other than the ring wear, but I picked this up in 1980. And this is on the Elektra label. They went over to Elektra, a couple of the members of Badfinger anyway. And I like this album. Commercially, it didn't do very well, but I liked it, and it was kind of panned by the critics. Panned even by the fans. Hello and goodbye to them on Elektra. We'd wait a couple more years, and I remember when this album came out, I went, all right, new album from Badfinger. And again, I thought this was a really great album by Badfinger. And the single Hold On was issued, and I went, this is going to be great. Badfinger has returned with a great song. They're finally going to come back. The radio stations around here in Maine pushed this album pretty good, so it's not their fault. But again, Say No More from Badfinger, their last album. Really. Of course, there's been some stuff issued since then. There you go. There's your label. As I'm holding it upside down. But that's it. Again, I like this album. And yeah, it's poppy. Very commercial, but it was a good album, I thought. It was a good effort by Badfinger. Of course, another member of Badfinger in 1983, I think, 82. In that early 80s, he hung himself because he just had it, you know. And now there's only one member of Badfinger left. I mean, the drummer had passed away about 7 or 8 years ago, half dozen years ago from a heart attack. So we've only got one member of Badfinger now left. But I encourage you, if you like the Beatles, or just if you like damn good music, how's that? If you like good music, I encourage you to hunt down some stuff from Badfinger, and at least on CD. I know the vinyl is very pricey at times, but I encourage you to do that. If you got any questions, comments, or concern, or if you've got an extra copy of Wish You Were Here laying around that you just don't need on vinyl, send it to me. Yeah, I know that's not going to happen, but here's hoping. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. I know I talk too much. I hope you enjoy my rambling on. And any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down at the bottom or PM me. I'm good with that. What else? And let me know, too, if there's an artist that you want me to do. I'll let you know right away if I don't have enough by them or anything by them. But feel free to PM me or something like that, too. And remember, if that guy or person that wanted Glenn Campbell, let me know. I have no problem doing that if you want me to. Okay? Until next time, everybody. Peace and love.